Let's discuss the intention behind training and how you show up to your training sessions. So it's a little bit more mindset based, but how you do one thing is how you do everything. So how you show up to your sessions is often going to carry over into how you show up in business, with your friends, with your family. So it's a good opportunity to reflect, because possibly we do things on autopilot, right? We've got these habits and they're just automatic. If we stop and reflect on some of the habits of how we're showing up, we might be able to adjust these if they're not serving us. So, how do you approach the bar? How do you approach your sessions? I've got two really good examples we've trained thousands of ladies, right? So, I can tell you two very common ones that I see. The first one is the lady who is always late. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. The female that's always late is very highly strung or stressed, who rushes through her movements. Like this is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So with this woman, often I find that it's harder for them to connect into their body to see how they're feeling mentally and how their body is feeling physically. So, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're rushing, if you're not taking time to think, if you're not connecting into how you're feeling, you're going to make mistakes in your everyday life, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're not taking time to think and sit with your emotions to understand why you feel certain things, then you will make mistakes in your life. You will make decisions that are not fully aligned with yourself because you haven't had time to connect with your mind and your body. Our second lady is very similar. She's not always late. However, the first one is always late, which is just so interesting because often the one that's late is always got really high stress and will often burn themselves out and lose the plot, that type of person. Now, the second person is the rusher. The rusher. They come to their session and they rush all of their movements. They seem to use exercise as a way of punishing themselves, and because they rush their rest breaks, they rush their movements, they often don't get the benefits of the session. If you're not resting appropriately, you're not coming back to you're not recovering, and therefore you're not going to be as strong, therefore you're not getting the best results you could be getting. How you do one thing is how you do everything, right? How you show up in a gym session is how you're going to show up in life, just as how you show up to work and your business and how you approach your attitude for work is very similar to your attitude in life. So I guess it's important, because if you're rushing, if you're not thinking about or connecting with your body or your mind and how certain things are feeling, then you're simply not going to be able to get the best results, because your form is going to be slightly off. You're not going to be able to lift as heavy. You're not going to be able to recover as quickly. So when we rush things, especially when we're training, and strength training in particular, or powerlifting, for our big lifts, we want to take our time. We want to connect into how our body's feeling. We want to make sure the right parts of our body is activated so that we're doing the movement correctly. We want to ensure that our breathing is on point. So if you rush your movements, you will not do them correctly. I've done 3 powerlifting comps. I've had numerous clients do powerlifting comps. And when you rush, you make mistakes. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So ladies, next time I want you to start to think about your intention. What is your intention for your session? Do you want to start to connect with your breath, your mind, how you're feeling in your body? Because you will get better results. I guarantee you. If you're someone who's very highly stressed, who's always rushed, take a bit off your plate. Delegate, delete, disregard. Get rid of those extra things that you don't need to be done. So put some strategies in place to support yourself so that you can have more time to think, to connect to breath, to connect to mind, to connect to your body. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So what you're doing in the gym is how you're showing up in your everyday life. Reflect, manipulate, reassess, and go again. Find what works for you. Connect to your mind and body.